Hey girl, so today we're gonna keep this quick. I have just a few things that I wanna mention, and then I'm gonna plug in a story time from, girl, I freaking hit my car into a gate this past weekend. I have never done something like that in my life. So I have that in there, and then I wanna talk to you about me winning this raffle, and oh, I should show you the hat. I wanna talk to you about winning this raffle and a couple other points. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, hello. My name is Tatiana Barlow, and I have been documenting my journey ever since I quit my 9-to-5 and manifesting a better life for myself. So starting off, I won a raffle this past weekend. I'm actually gonna just get up and go get it. I won this hat, and that's a big deal because in the past, I used to have a very firm belief that I never won raffles and I was never selected from randomized things. And I believed that firmly. To me, I'm bringing this up because this is just even more evidence for my brain on how belief is everything in manifestation and stuff. So this is the hat. It's not gonna, oh, it is gonna fit. Okay, I wasn't sure because I have a ponytail in right now, but. So, right, this matters because why? Before I knew anything about manifestation or whatever, ever since I was a really young kid, I had a firm belief that I never won raffles and I never got my stick pulled in class or my card selected or whatever. And if I was talking to somebody about that, I would tell them so it works in my favor and not in my favor. I was like, it works in schools because if they're selecting people to randomly speak or do something, you know how you never want to get called, or I feel like a lot of times you don't want to get called on in school. I was never called on, but it also worked against me in the sense that it meant I was never selected for raffles and giveaways and stuff either. And so that was consistent for it until this. I'm not gonna say I've never won a raffle in my life. There was one time in high school, I actually won a scholarship from a sorority when I was going to school or whatever. That was such a big deal because that never happened, blah, blah, blah. Outside of that, I really didn't. And even if it was a small, let's say the teacher only had a few little things of cards. I remember in college, the teacher was selecting cards and I was sitting there I'm not gonna get picked though. I never get picked because I didn't want to. And that was consistent, consistent for so much of my life. And obviously I've changed my beliefs and self-concept, whoop, whoop, wop, wop. If you've been here, you know. And so I actually felt like I was gonna win something from this raffle. I thought it was really ironic that it's something that you could say I've been manifesting or wanting. I've seen these types of hats. I've been wanting it for a while. The raffle was for different stations at the event. And this is exactly, out of everything in the room and all the raffle pulls, this is exactly what I would have wanted. And I also was kind of not surprised that I won, which was weird because of what I just shared in the past. It was always so different. So I'm sorry if you hear the background noise. So winning that raffle, big deal, super fun. I also got some other freebies that day and just synchronicities up the wall. So that was really cool. I love seeing new beliefs, just manifesting like that. And something recently that I learned, which I didn't really think of myself this way, is that technically I am technically an introvert. I've always identified as an ambivert, which just means you're somewhere in between introversion and extroversion. Because I don't resonate with introvert culture. I think introverts are very commonly associated with being shy and antisocial and social battery, and I can't do that because I'm an introvert. There's just a negative connotation around it. And people are really quick to tell you they're introverts and why they can't do things and whatever. So I've never identified as one. I've always just said I'm an ambivert and maybe leaning introvert, but I felt like I was pretty 50-50. And just through figuring out and thinking, and not even figuring out, just whatever. I won't explain how I got to this realization, but technically, the main difference between introversion and extroversion is just how you recharge. So introverts recharge alone and spend maybe more time in their own space, and extroverts recharge with people. But both of these parties go in and outside, and they come out of their shell when they're with people and whatever, but yeah, I spend a significant amount of time on my own, and I really value doing things by myself and stuff, even though I very much, you already know how I'm still manifesting my best friend and stuff. If I had more people aligned with my way of living, then I would probably spend more time or less time alone. But I'm just very particular about my space and whoop whoop wop wop. So it's interesting to kind of realize that about myself, or learn that about myself, of no, you're technically textbook, technically an introvert. But I still have developed social skills. So other people don't think that I'm an introvert, but whatever. That was just I just realized that a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, that's technically true. I'm probably still gonna say ambivert because I really don't identify with introvert culture. But anyways, it's something that I do that I've noticed that I wanted to share with you all. I may or may not have shared this in the past, I'm not sure. Is I love observing myself in public and seeing how I introduce myself, and how I talk about myself and my business and my life or whatever, because it gives me insight to where a belief is at in its integration. I'm always just observing. Well, I guess that's the end of the sentence. I'm always observing, right? And you can see I feel how, let me not speak for yourself. Let me not speak for you. Let me speak for myself. When I'm in public, and if I introduce myself and I'm talking about my business, how that resonates in my body, how I identify, how I speak on myself and what I'm doing in public with other people, gives me more insight than just if I'm talking to myself here in the house where I feel safe. Because it's what I share, and especially what I share casually, and especially what I say subconsciously, some things you just talking or whatever, that gives me insight of okay, I see that belief has landed. The way I talk about my business now, and it's just more established, or if someone asks what I do, I'm oh, and then I go on, I'm emotional wellness guide, that's what I do, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot more casual and natural, whereas when I first started it, it felt more I'm on the spot, or a little more, and just any belief or surrounding self-worth and self-love and whatever, I love just observing, seeing where it's at, because it just takes time for the brain to process things. It just needs integration time, but everything lands and everything sticks. If you just stick with whatever it is that you're trying to absorb, or adopt, new beliefs, new whatever, if you just stick with it, it just needs some processing time, the same way. I hope you don't hear all that background noise, but I'm not stopping because I'm probably already over time. But it's I already lost my train of thought. But I'm just saying, if you stick with whatever it is that you're doing, you don't really have to do the work. You just have to show up. I feel that way about everything, sports and going to the gym and instruments, learning a new skill, learning a new hobby, public speaking, a new career, new this, new that. Is you really just have to keep being there and being present and just have fun and do your best. And it happens automatically. Your body learns stuff, and your whatever learns automatically. Energy learns automatically. So instead of getting anxious or feeling bothered about me not having fully adopted a certain belief or whatever, I really just love observing and seeing okay, so this is where you're at with your belief on that. Okay, so this is where you're at with that. So really cool. Other than that, girl, I was trying to do a thing where I was gonna just share clips instead of doing a sit down talk like this week. So I already recorded hitting that freaking gate, which I can't believe. So I will play that, and then I'll see you next week, girl. I got stuff to do. Oh, and I'm going to a new, do I want to talk about that yet? I'll talk about that next week. But new stuff is happening. Today I went to an event. I got there at essentially perfect timing. Had a great time. I got this free hat. won a raffle, which, mind you, that has significance for a separate reason. I guess we'll talk about later. But and then we went back, got our cars to leave, and I ran into the gate for no fucking reason. Bitch, I have never done something like that in my... Yeah, girl. We go to leave. My friend leaves before me. So I think she said that gate was either already open when she got there or it was motion activated. So she went down. She went through. I went to follow her through, and then the gate started closing. And I was like, oh, I guess it's one car at a time. And then it wasn't opening. So I kept creeping forward more and more. So I'm like, maybe I'm not activating the sensor. And then it doesn't open. My friend's on the phone, by the way, at this point, because I called to ask her, like, how'd you get this gate open? And then she's like, maybe it's motion activated, so maybe back up and then try again. And I was like, yeah, that's what, yeah. And I have a feature on my car that lets it hold the brake for you. And I went to turn that on first before putting it in reverse because there was a steep hill to leave, and since I was already so close, taking my foot off the brake to then go in reverse, the car would have rolled forward a little bit, and I just don't like when it does that. And I was already really close to the gate, so I was like, let me put the brake hold on and then go in reverse. And I put the brake hold on, and my brain registered that as me putting it in reverse. So a bitch puts the brake hold on, looks in the mirror, and rams into the fucking gate. What the actual? But obviously I put my car in reverse. I went and I looked at the front of the car. It's damaged. And I honestly laughed because I don't know what, I can't even take this serious. Like, what a way to end a really powerful day and week, to just do something so... And so then I go to get the guy, the worker upstairs, because the gate obviously still wasn't open, and it looked normal though. And I went to get him because I was like, the gate's not, because it was 6 and the thing closed at 6. I wanted to make sure he didn't leave since the lock closed at 6. He looks over. Whatever, nice guy. Basically, long story short, comes down to help, and he clicks the clicker to open the gate, and the gate's not opening. And it's not opening all the way because that shit's off the tracks. I cannot take off the tracks. I didn't know that it was off the tracks at first, so I'm like, I'm not gonna say nothing. And then when I saw it was off the tracks, I was like, oh, now I gotta say something because I clearly damaged it. And you can see the new grill on my car. It did a number on my car, in my opinion. And my friend said it's not that bad. It's in. I'm talking about in it. It's in there. So whatever, I tell him, I was like, it was me. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but he understood because I gestured to my car. Like, I was like, this is my car. Like, I accidentally blah, blah, blah. He's on FaceTime with the owner. They're trying to get the gate open. The alarm is going off loud as shit. My friend is in the alley. There's this guy off in the distance just staring at us. And I'm just standing there like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it, but that's what I told her. I was like, I'm gonna just tell him it was me. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it. I don't know, but it was me, and it's off the tracks by a lot. So I can't just act like it wasn't me. And not to mention the fact that my whip is right there, clearly damaged. Like, it's clearly me. Eventually, just wrapping this up, long story short, because there was quite a minute of getting it back on the tracks and stuff, but long story short, he let me go. Bish. He said, once we got it open, I was like, buen dia, or está bien? And he's like, yeah. Sent my black ass on my way. Best believe I skedaddled. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I know I said that was gonna be it. One more thing. I've been very consistent with my self-hypnosis. I've gotten really good at self-hypnosis and it is crazy. I feel like the synchronicities are off the charts. I feel like synchronicities have already been off the charts in my life, but now even more. I just feel like so ridiculously supported in what I'm doing, in my life path, and the steps that I'm taking. Like, the synchronicities are insane. So, yeah, girl. I hope you're still going strong and doing your thing, and we still out here, girl. We having the life that we want. We living the life we desire. I know that's right. I'll see you next week, girl.